basically I really kind of resonated with what you were saying, but actually a lot of your kind of passion like genuinely kind of came across. So we've
Good.
both got a brew, and just I'm going to sit back, let you kind of talk to everyone for a few minutes, and just tell them, who you are, what the business is, and kind of how you got started.
Yeah, so I'm Peter Mckeone. I'm from Middlesbrough in the northeast of England. So I'm 33 years old. I run a spice merchant business called Diablo Seasonings. So I grew up in Pannister Park, which is it's TS3, Middlesbrough. So where I grew up, you could see the Transporter Bridge from the field where we used to play football. So bit of a boring lad. And soon, kind of in school, I don't know, I found school a bit of an uninspiring kind of environment. I just felt a little bit stifled. Quite enjoyed English and music, but just wasn't for me. I was just really bored a lot of the time, and that's no disrespect to the teachers, but it just wasn't for me. It wasn't my kind of environment that my learning style thrives in. So as soon as I left school, I started working at Virgin in Middlesbrough. We had a call centre in central Middlesbrough. I learned a lot in those first couple of years working in the call centre about sales, about selling bits of phones and stuff like that, and just being a responsible, or borderline responsible adult, just going to work in a suit, etc. Just getting used to working in that kind of businessy environment.
Just
And
to
then
kind
after
of chip
that,
in on
yes,
I've also worked in a call center, and I absolutely
yeah,
hated it. I worked it was
yeah.
Ladbrokes, so the
Oh
telebetting
yeah,
call center. So I grew
sounds
up
terrific.
near Ancient Racecourse, and it
Uh-huh.
was when basically it was a summer job when I was at uni,
Yeah,
and the shifts were brutal, and it was just,
yeah,
but like you had to work every weekend. And my girlfriend at the
yeah,
time and now wife was in Darlow, so she was in the northeast, but it
yeah,
meant I couldn't travel up. But it was just I
yeah.
just hated it. So it's anyone that can actually stick out a call center, but learn their
That's
craft
it.
there. And
I think you pick up so many skills in that kind of environment. Like after the call center, I did about 9 years of field sales, which is effectively door to door in the domestic energy market. And it's pretty horrendous, getting insulted on a daily basis and working 12 hours a day in the rain, in the snow, getting bit by dogs, etc. I think at the time though, like you've got to stay motivated. But now I look back, I think that was horrendous, really. But that's molding you, isn't it? In your teen years and in your 20s, that's molding you for when you get a bit older. And nowadays, like, no matter what situation occurs, whether that be business or life, I just know I can deal with it. Because of that, when you've knocked doors all day in the snow and you haven't quit, it kind of gives you a thick skin, so...
no, I completely agree. And it's that balance again where you're kind of past career history, almost. My uncle once said to me, I was in the garden as a kid, probably about, I don't know, 12 years old, and he
Yeah,
referenced back to in his career, there was loads of random things that happened, but as he went through, they seemed to somehow piece together. And I've definitely
yeah,
found the same, just loads of random stuff. And it could be that the glue is actually you, but actually,
yes,
so I've worked in call centers, supermarkets, loads of kind
yeah,
of different jobs. But my point is, but
yeah,
you do learn your craft as you go through
you do.
that. And then ironically, when you kind of finally get a good gig,
Yeah,
because you've had shit jobs, you almost appreciate it more.
that's it. Without a doubt. I think going to work in engineering in 2014 and ending up working at TTE in South Bank and working with their team and just like it's a job of comfort. It's a challenging job, obviously, but you would be getting picked up in a nice car, going to a nice hotel in Aberdeen, etc., flying up there, whatever, all these perks of the job. And I would sit back and think, wow, I used to knock doors in like Port Clarence all day and get abused all day. And now this is sweet. And it gets to a point where you can start to afford to travel as well. And I think all those experiences have definitely had a major influence on me, definitely.